You've heard of Lamborghini, you've heard of Ferrari. But what if I told you there's a Swedish manufacturer that leaves them both in the dust? Literally? Today we're diving into the world of Koenigsegg, the lightning-fast automaker that seems to be rewriting the rules of supercars one record at a time. From its unbelievable speed to its founder's surprising beginnings, Koenigsegg is the brand every car enthusiast dreams of. Stick around, because what we're about to reveal will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about fast cars. Let's start with the founder, Christian von Koenigsegg. You might think someone who builds some of the fastest cars on the planet would have a background filled with engineering degrees and automotive internships, right? Not even close. Believe it or not, Christian started out selling frozen chickens. Yes, the mastermind behind these multi-million-dollar machines wasn't born into the world of cars. He came from a family of entrepreneurs, running a simple trading company that dealt with all sorts of mundane goods. But Christian had a bigger dream, and after some time, he decided to follow his passion for speed and design, leaving behind his frozen chicken empire for something far more exciting. What's even crazier is that Koenigsegg was just 22 years old when he founded his company in 1994. With no formal training in car mechanics, he simply decided to learn everything on his own. Fast forward a few years, and he was building one of the most advanced supercars the world had ever seen. Koenigsegg Automotive AB isn't like other car companies. While brands like Ferrari or Lamborghini have decades of history behind them, Koenigsegg is relatively young. The company was founded in 1994, but what it lacks in age, it makes up for in ambition. Christian von Koenigsegg had a singular goal: to build the fastest, most powerful cars on the planet. And he's done just that. The first prototype, created in the mid-90s, was nothing short of revolutionary, but Koenigsegg didn't stop there. With each new model, they continued to push the limits of speed, power, and design, creating cars that would break records and turn heads around the world. If you've ever seen a Koenigsegg, you've probably noticed the small ghost logo on the car. It's not just a cool design, it's actually a tribute to the Swedish Ghost Squadron, a disbanded fighter jet unit of the Swedish Air Force. So, why does a car manufacturer use a logo tied to military history? It all comes down to where Koenigsegg set up its headquarters. After a fire destroyed one of their facilities in 2003, the company moved to an abandoned Swedish airbase. This airbase had once been home to the Ghost Squadron, and to honor them, Koenigsegg decided to adopt their logo. In a way, Koenigsegg cars are the modern-day fighters of the road, carrying on the spirit of high performance and precision. Now let's talk about what Koenigsegg is really known for: speed. You might think Bugatti or McLaren make fast cars, and they do. But Koenigsegg has consistently been a step ahead in the race for speed supremacy. Take the Koenigsegg Regera, or S for example. In 2017, it broke the record for the fastest production car, reaching a mind-boggling 277.87 mph, 447.19 km/h. This wasn't just a fluke. Koenigsegg has been breaking records since its inception. Their cars are built for speed, but they're also designed for precision. Every part of a Koenigsegg is custom-made to ensure it can handle the immense power generated by its engine. The result? A car that's not only fast, but also incredibly stable at high speeds. Something that's rare even in the world of supercars. But it's not just about speed. Koenigsegg has also set records in acceleration, braking, and even fuel efficiency. Their cars are truly engineering marvels, capable of doing things most people wouldn't think possible. You might be wondering, how did Koenigsegg start building such powerful engines? Well, in the beginning, they didn't. In fact, the early Koenigsegg prototypes used Ford engines. The company initially partnered with Ford to use their modular V8 engines for their early models. It wasn't until later that Koenigsegg started designing their own engines, which have since become some of the most powerful in the world. But even the Ford-powered Koenigseggs were impressive. In 2002, the Koenigsegg CC8S debuted with a Ford V8 engine that produced 655 horsepower, a staggering number for the time. This car set the stage for everything that would come later, proving that Koenigsegg had what it took to compete with the biggest names in the industry. Koenigsegg isn't like other car manufacturers. They don't mass-produce their cars. In fact, they make very few of them. Each car is essentially handcrafted, with meticulous attention to detail. This exclusivity is part of what makes Koenigsegg so special. When you buy a Koenigsegg, you're not just getting a car, you're getting a piece of art, a machine built to perfection by some of the best engineers in the world. One of the most impressive things about Koenigsegg is that they're constantly innovating. Christian von Koenigsegg and his team are always looking for ways to make their cars faster, more efficient, and more powerful. Whether it's experimenting with new materials or designing cutting-edge engines, they're never satisfied with the status quo. Let's take a closer look at some of Koenigsegg's world records. As we mentioned earlier, the Regera RS set the record for the fastest production car in 2017. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Over the years, Koenigsegg has set numerous records for speed, acceleration, and even innovation. For example, in 2008, the Koenigsegg CCX set a new record by going from 0 to 300 km/h and back to 0 in just 29.2 seconds. And in 2015, the Koenigsegg 11 achieved a similar feat in less than 18 seconds. These records aren't just numbers, they're proof of Koenigsegg's commitment to pushing the boundaries of what's possible. So, what's next for Koenigsegg? With cars like the Jesko and the Regera already pushing the limits of what we thought was possible, it's hard to imagine how they could top themselves. But if there's one thing we know about Christian von Koenigsegg, it's that he's always thinking ahead. Koenigsegg is constantly working on new technologies, from hybrid engines to even faster speeds. And with the world of electric and hybrid supercars becoming more competitive, it's clear that Koenigsegg will continue to innovate and set new records in the years to come.